But when our interests move from nation building to survival as a political party, when our interests move from how do we ensure that our party remains in power beyond 8 years, and so all our attention is on how to remain in power, whether we are ministers, whether we are parliamentarians, whether we are civil servants, even today, whether we are soldiers or policemen. It's all about how do we, in our group, remain in power. Because being in power brings us many, many benefits. Being in power is the only way we can ensure that our personal needs are provided for. And that should not be the objective, but it has become. It's not just the politician, but because everybody, when we are voting, we look for the person who is likely to give us the things that we want. We are not going to vote for the person who is going to give us a hard time pushing us for structural transformation. We want quick results. So we get what we paid for. We get what we want.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll examine a few more issues. This is the point of view tonight. We're reflecting with Professor Ernest Aryeetey, Emeritus Professor of Economics. He's a leadership expert. He's an educationist. And we're talking to him on many issues. Stay with us. When Ministry of Legon, key director of ISE many years ago, and also the founding president of the Africa Research Universities Alliance, ARUA, among other things. Prof, it seems to me as if your trajectory in life has shaped the way you see academia. So you did economics at Legon, you went to Tech to do planning, you went to Germany. It seems to me that you sound very multidisciplinary. You don't sound like just a pure economist in the sense of the word, because I hear geography, I hear sociology, I hear all kinds of things. So am I right in saying that it was the trajectory you took which shaped that outlook to scholarship?
Yeah, it was a choice I made.
Okay.
When I finished studying economics at Legon, I was looking for a way to make my knowledge and understanding of economics less abstract than you typically find in the books. I was looking for how to apply the economics I've learned to solving the problems around me. The biggest problem around us today is poverty, has always been for a long time. How do you use economics to deal with poverty? Where are the poor people? In those days, we saw the poor people as the rural areas. How best to use economics to deal with rural poverty? That's what took me to do regional planning, where the thinking was about how do we allocate resources in a manner that leads to change in the urban-rural dynamics. That was basically what I was very, very interested in. I did that. I learned how to prepare development plans from that. My expectation was, okay, fine, I will do this, and I'll go to the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning, where we'll become a regional economic planning officer and then rise through the system to become a chief planning officer. By the time I finished my PhD, all of that had changed anyway. But it has never stopped me from thinking, in my research, about how to use our knowledge of economics to solve everyday problems for rural households, for poor urban households, and so on. You will find that a lot of the work that I've done, most of that work I've been talking about things like inequality. Long before Ghana thought about social protection, we were talking and writing about social protection. So these are things that have been informed by my experience, by the way I saw things happen around me, whether in Accra or outside of Accra. So yes, it's a very rich collection.
So there's always a special dimension to the way you see economics.
Precisely. I saw planning as applying economics to space. How do we use economic principles in space. How do we turn a rural economy into one that is vibrant, one that is responsive? What kind of economic incentives will make farmers change the way they manage their farms? What kind of incentives would make an investor in Accra want to go and invest in Techiman, in farming in Techiman? Those are the kinds of things that I've been very interested in.
I noticed you liked going to villages to research. Was it because coming back as an economist from the Western world, Germany, you felt that you needed an immersion in local knowledge? Because this one worked with Aryeetey and Yangtze in Techiman. You spoke about how without electricity, I think the example you gave was that a lot of businessmen said, we don't have electricity. If we have electricity, everything will change. Yeah. So they give them power. 2 years later, nothing changed, except they had one cold store. Exactly. So you're basically trying to say that it's more complex to transform a society, and there's no one magic bullet. Precisely.
That's a point I've always made, that there are times when I listen to finance ministers read the budget. As you listen to them read their budget, you get the impression that they believe that in the coming year, they will solve all of Ghana's problems. And from experience, it doesn't happen. But why do they believe that? They believe that because nobody's asking them the right questions. So because we don't ask the right questions, there's no incentive for policymakers to look for the right answers. It's about time that we started asking those difficult, tough questions. And we don't expect the Minister of Finance to know immediately the answer to that question. But we expect him or her to avert the